What's up, guys? Oh, there's the big Ford. Hey, it's shop day. Guess what we're gonna do? We got something else to do on the Bronco. I know these commies, but I love their coffee. So, things, like I said, are starting to come in, and lots of them at the same time. But obviously I'm working in and out of town every week, but we're trying to keep this thing moving. So let's see what we picked today. And you're wondering why we chose it, right? I'll tell you why. Okay, why? Why did we choose it? So obviously when you're talking about a twin turbo motor, you're talking about the more efficiently you can move air in and out, the better it runs. So we're not going to do anything huge performance-wise on this thing, but obviously I like to do performance mods as well, hence the Whipple on that guy, the RIP supercharger on my JL, doing the big D and performance work on the Eco Diesel Gladiator, and if you haven't seen those, I've got playlists built on a channel that you can go and see all those and how they were done. Full builds, but on this guy, we're not going to do a whole bunch, but obviously there's some things you do. You do a free-flowing exhaust, you do a better air intake, and then a simple tune. And so that's kind of what we're going to do with this guy. So doing my research, I kind of communicated with Lauren Healy, and I did some research on their specific phone handler, and then just talking to him, he was talking about the fact that MBRP is one of the box behind me is the first exhaust that was actually available for the Bronco. And so I kind of felt like, since it's something that they chose to do on their own stuff, and that they were the first people to do the actual exhaust on it, I would think that by now, any refinements that needed to be done, since this is the 2022, would have been done, and they would have figured out by now. So that's why I went with it. I also went with the high clearance. Therefore, I'm not big on tips sticking down or seeing tips or anything like that, because, you know, first of all, I don't want to bash them, and that will happen. That's why that's got a tucked exhaust up underneath so that it didn't get crunched. But that's what we're gonna do. So today, let's get it installed. So let's see what we got, guys. Let's see what we got. This is probably my favorite part of getting a new vehicle is the build phase. I love building, especially kids with like Lego blocks or the little science kits. Remember the science kits you used to get as a kid, and you had all this little experiments you could build? Well, unfortunately that's me just as an adult. So the one thing I liked about this was it was a Catback exhaust system, and it went from 2-inch to the 3-inch. So that'll give us a whole lot better flow for moving things in and out. And obviously I told you we're going to do an intake system, because obviously the more freely you allow those turbos to breathe, the more efficiently and better they produce power. It also ends up helping on your gas mileage as well. The exhaust is not something for huge horsepower gains. Most of the stuff we're doing is relative to just being more efficient. Nothing about producing big power gains and stuff like that. Even the tune that I selected to go with it is basically just takes some of the simple restrictions off. It compensates for the more free-flowing exhaust, the more free-flowing air intake, and just all around lets the engine work more efficiently. So that's what we're doing. All these pieces of pipe can see, I think they're hydro bent, and the reason being is because I don't see any rippling in the metal. They've got all the factory attachment pieces, so you see this will be up at the bumper area, tucked away, so it'll almost be impossible to crunch that because it's above the bumper. But theoretically, it's a complete factory replacement system. There's going to be nothing that you change on the install. There's going to be nothing that you have to move or add or manipulate. That's really all it is. Check this out. That's it. Just set this here. Here's the muffler. I mean, it's all well belt, free flowing, 3-inch. This will make a huge difference. What we'll do before we get started is we'll take a couple sound tests so we know what it sounds like beforehand. Okay. Okay. Look at the directions. Pretty simple. It gives you an illustration on how it all goes together. Then it gives an illustration on exactly what goes together and how you're supposed to do it. Simple directions. Every bit of it's done with a photo, so it's pretty simple to attach. Okay, I think this is pretty easy. I think what we'll do is we'll get a couple sound tests, and then we'll start tearing apart the piece. Pretty tough. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get under there. We're going to spray all the rubber banding surfaces so that these things come off a whole lot easier. Slipping them off those little rubber brackets. And I'll show you what they are in 1 second. We'll get them sprayed down. And the reason being is obviously the rubber on metal, and so they would kind of drag. So if you spray with this, it makes it a little easier for it to go off. So that's that. Let's go to the front. Let's slide around here, guys. Woo! Okay. That may be too fat to get under there, people. Okay, there's one more up here. And then that's it. So I'm guessing that is 13 maybe? What's it, 10? So let's see what we can figure out here. Okay. I'm gonna leave that right there because I want to show you guys this. So let me get the camera. You guys with me? Da 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 da. Okay. So as we come under here, you'll see right here at the end of the muffler. And so this is your bumper, and then there's your muffler, and you'll see one right here. It's the first thing you see. Now, there's multiples. There's one up in here. It's just right in the back of that area. You see it right above, right below those clamps. There's that one. And then of course, there's one more along the front of your muffler right before the tip. And see, the reason why I got that high clearance tip is you can see that in this scenario, it would be kind of easy to hit or whatever. So from now on, it'll be tucked up underneath and you won't be able to hit that lip. Now, going down the exhaust, you can see it right through there, all the way to the transfer case. There's only one hanger, and it's the one sticking out from the right or from the left side. And all we do is we just pull, I think, 2 10mm bolts, and then that'll come free. So let's get those pieces of tool, and what we'll do is we'll start breaking everything loose, and then once they're loose, we'll go ahead and start working on removing it. It's out. Now, what I used was a 15mm deep socket and a standard 10mm socket. And then of course, that's what I used to use in motocross to change tires, but it's just a tire tool. To release those rubber, we'll call them bushings, isolators, off the hooks. Now, let's go and review to see what we're gonna use. I know we're gonna have to get those rubber insulators off because we're gonna need to use those on the install over here. So let's check it out. Now, quickly reading these things, there's obviously you can see a huge difference between this and that muffler. I did want to point that out. There's a huge weight difference too. That was significantly heavier than what this entire box weighed. Nevertheless, this is gonna be the rear hanger that goes up on your back bumper. Okay, so that'll have to be swapped out. And then I also did notice that obviously they sent me an additional 20 horsepower. If you see this, I mean, this thing is gonna be a drag strip monster now that they added this. So, it's pretty simple. It says start at the front, work your way back, installing everything together loosely. Then once it's all in place, then start tightening all from the front to the back, getting it all situated exactly where you want it, then locking it all down. And it does have 45 foot-pounds as the actual torque spec. So, and then of course it says like every, verify your clearances, band clamps, torques, every 30, 60 miles for the first probably 60 miles. So check it twice, 30 and then again at 60. But I'm gonna put some pretty good beef on it, so I don't know if that'll be an issue. Anyway, let's get rocking and rolling. Okay, so that probably took 15 minutes to get it all dressed up and under and kind of situated the way I think it should look. I'm gonna show you guys a look real quick before I tighten everything down, going from front to back, tighten everything down, but I think you'll be able to kind of understand how it looks. Okay, so if you look at that one retainer right there that's attached to the frame rail, that's a factory retainer. You just pull it off the old piece and put it right back on. It slips right back on. It just holds it in place, just to take some of the vibration out of the exhaust system as you're driving and wheeling and stuff like that. It's nothing. It's not static. It's not hard mounted. That's an actual rubber piece that just slips right on and off. So it's pretty simple. And going down, you see the continuation of this piece. It goes down, up and over, and then you see the very next attachment point right there and another bracket. Super simple. And then That'll be your second point or third point of attachment or tightening on your way back to the muffler on the tightening phase. Then when you get back here, this is pretty simple. Your last hanger, and then this is where it comes up and over the axle with plenty of room. There's probably 8 inches of travel area between there and the actual frame rail. You can see it. And then it comes back to this one, and then this one comes into your muffler and then attaches again right there at the end. And you can see how high it is compared to the bumper. So there's no way you should hit the end of the exhaust tip. I mean, I guess if you were dragging the bumper, you could, but the hooks should kind of keep you off of it. That's why it's called a high clearance. But anyway, the last thing we have left to do is to go through and tighten it front to back, and then fire it up. Okay. All right. So, super easy install. We'll go over it real quick. 15 minutes to pull everything off, kind of get yourself familiar with the way it all goes together, and then 20 minutes to put it back on, including the tighten procedure. When it all went back on, it was super, super snug, no movement, no rubbing, wasn't hitting anything. So very, very happy with the fit and finish of it. So the only thing left to do is, let's hear it, right? Just so you guys can say, just so you see, I mean, you see it now. You can barely see the exhaust. And that's why they're calling it their high clearance series. So let's fire it up and see what it sounds like. That sounds more like what we were wanting to hear out of this 2.7, right? What you think? My first impressions, the throatiness, the deeper tone sounded so much better, and I think it gave it a little bit of life. And that's all. Remember, that's all I wanted it for. I think we can all agree that the high clearance is something that's going to be nice if you actually use your rig for crawling and going out there and four-wheel driving and stuff. It's nice not to tear it up. We also could agree that it's so much nicer having all that useless weight removed. Note to self when you're doing the install, make sure you wear some dark clothes. You can see I'm kind of dirty here, but the water coming out of the exhaust when I was pulling it all apart is black, and so whatever you have on will get ruined. Anyway, I think it sounds fantastic. I'm super happy. It's going to go on with the rest of the stuff that we're doing. Remember, we've got a VR tuner coming pretty soon for making the motor itself more efficient, and then again, we're going to do a Corsa intake. All that will just make it be more efficient. Not much big, like there's not huge big power gains that we're looking for. We're just looking for efficiency and it just running better. Anyway, that's what we're going to keep doing. We're going to keep knocking off these projects through all this stuff right here. There's still more to come. The lighting hadn't even shipped. The Corsa hadn't shipped. The VR Tune hadn't shipped. Heretic is still building all the lights we're going to be putting on this thing. So there's still a lot of stuff in transit. The suspension system, I ordered it about a month ago. It's probably going to honestly be February before it comes in, I bet, because it's a big deal. It's a big kit. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Remember to pound the like button, regardless if you think it gives me a hug or not. Pound the like button because you like seeing Bronco content, and YouTube will forget about what they think you want to see, and they'll keep pushing these videos out to us, okay? That's the only way to do it. Pound that like button. You know, remember, if this is the first time you've been on this channel, remember to subscribe. There's more coming. This has got a continuous build update every week. Every week there will be a build update video for this thing. Something new, something significant. I'm not going to be putting on doorknob chrome pieces or something like that. It's going to be something that you guys would contemplate putting on your rig, and I think it's going to, all that we're going to do is going to be useful modifications, not something that's just not going to benefit us in some way. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for coming back. And like I said, if you want to see playlists from all the other things that we do on this channel, there's a playlist for a Gladiator, an Eco Diesel Gladiator that was deleted and all kinds of cool stuff done to it. Big lift, the JL, RIP supercharged, big lift, a lot of stuff done to that. Fat Boy Raptor's right there chilling. It's Whipple supercharged, a 75,000 mile original Raptor. So anyway, we do a lot of stuff on this channel. If this is the stuff you like and you want to see more of it, subscribe, hit the bell button so you're notified. And remember, if you can't remember anything else, just remember every week, never missed, every week, a new update for this Bronco as it just gets built and built and built. And then when it's built, I promise you, we'll go tear it up somewhere. Anyway, thanks for watching. You guys be safe. Be easy.